Last video, we pulled the bike apart and checked how it was mechanically. It was decent. The best part was that the engine was not leaking any oil, which was what had us worried since we knew very little about the history of the bike. We also cut the tail to fit what we wanted the bike to look like. So now, on this episode, we put a 2-year-old to work. Danny wraps a wheel in paper. Pablo does a crappy weld. And Milo sleeps on the job. The new tires finally got here, so I set out to mount them. And by me, I mean Pablo, who spent like 4 hours trying to change them with this ancient set of tools. To be fair, he had the best little helper in the world. In order to get the tail in its permanent position, we need to strip the electronics of the bike. Even though it's carbureted, there are still a lot of cables to remove. Fine, not that many. They were still in the way.
As you can see, we can't focus on a single task, so we took the opportunity to check the clearance of the new gas tank with the custom support and some bushings I made from a bushing I had laying around and cutting them to size with a blade.
Thinking quickly, Dave constructs a homemade megaphone using only some string, a squirrel, and a megaphone.
With the wires out of the way, we started cutting the original supports of the tail in order to make new ones that work with the new tail. Here's the thing that can't be missing from a video, an epic ankle grinder slow-mo shot. Oh yeah. Look at that epicness. Wait, cue the epic music. Yeah, that's better.
Now, back to our regular shots. We keep planning how to do the seat. However, we started to doubt if the bike itself was actually straight. Because from one side it looked good, but from the other, it didn't.
We brought our very special tool to try and fix it. As you can see, it took several tries, but eventually we felt it was good enough. Next step was preparing the parts to be welded, but first we needed to do some grinding. One final measure to check if it was actually straight, and well, good enough.
So first, Pablo did some tag welds to avoid the moving. Now, full disclaimer, none of us is actually a welder. But look at those welds. I have seen candle wax with more structural integrity than that.
But you know what they say, grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. So, we professionally filled all the gaps and grinded it smooth. Finally, we painted the tail to avoid getting rusted while we keep modifying it. It isn't perfect, but we like how it looked. The next step was removing the engine to clean it and replace a few parts that needed an update. This way, we could also clean the frame and paint the wheels.
After that, I started cleaning the rear wheel and preparing it for painting.
While I worked on the front wheels, removed the front brake, and used the time to check if the new disc was the right one.
Prepping the wheels for painting was slow, but the idea was to try and get the best result possible to avoid buying new ones. So, besides wrapping it in paper, I grinded some imperfections and damage that had been done, sanded them down a little, and cleaned them with alcohol. Then, we spray them with a matte black canned paint a few times. Since the weather that day wasn't really in our favor, we decided to use a heat gun in order to accelerate the process a little bit. Also, we are really impatient. To be honest, I actually like how they turned out. It's not perfect, but they look really good.
While that was happening, I finished stripping the frame and went to clean it to see the state it was in.
Now that we have a better frame, all we needed to do was clean the dirt that had been accumulated for years. We also painted any bare metal that we had. And finally, we cut away anything that we weren't going to use.
So I've been working on the frame, and when I was working on it, my grinder died. So yeah. Now I've managed to finish both supports here and here. They fit pretty well actually. That's what I'm going with to support the seat. I still need to put the light in here. I haven't done that. I think the LED I have will be like really in there because it's not that, it's really thin, sorry, not that thick. So might be putting something like a tube or something in there just to make sure it's flush. And what I was doing was cleaning up all these spaces where there used to be supports like this one that we're no longer going to use. So I was trying to clean up the frame a little bit.
I still have to change the steering bearings. I do have them, I just haven't done that because I was working on the frame. I didn't want it to change it and then get some metal particles in there, so just wanted to wait for it. And yeah, that's stop now.
So, as of now, that's where we are in the bike. Next time, we will be working on the carburetor and a few other things. So, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.